What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Mac on Sports podcast, October the 4th. And I just had the greatest weekend of my life. After many thoughts about it, where would I rank it on Saturday night? Where would I rank that in my life? It was the number one night of my life. At least it's got to be. If you guys don't know, I went to the Kentucky-Florida game. And first of all, great game. Going into the game, Florida was an 8-point favorite. Kentucky looks like a big underdog, right? Haven't beat Florida at home since 1986, I want to say. So the energy in Lexington was absolutely unbelievable leading up to this game. Leading up to it, it's a sellout. You can just, when you can feel that vibe, that type of energy in the air, that's exactly what we got here. That's exactly what we got. And so walking around campus, you feel a buzz. Everybody in, like the students, from alumni to just everybody there, you feel something. It doesn't mean they're going to win. Oh, maybe you would hope so, but probably not with Kentucky, because they've had so much bad experiences in the past, right, in heartbreaking ways. But no, that wasn't the case. It was sold out before kickoff. Waka Flocka. If you guys don't know, Kentucky kind of adopted Waka Flocka's It's a Party, his song Grove Street Party. A couple years back when they played South Carolina, it was just one of those moments where it was unbelievable. And ever since there, it kind of took off with Kentucky. And that's kind of became their anthem, their song. Well, Waka Flocka led the team out, and oh my God, the place was buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. And let me tell you, as the night went on and on and on, I don't think I've been to many sporting events. I've been to 2 Final Fours. I've been to some playoff games. I've been to Elite Eights around the country. I've been to a lot of great sporting events. When I say that is the best atmosphere I think I've ever experienced firsthand in my life, I 100% will stick with that statement. It was that special of a night in Lexington. It was that special of a night. So let's talk about the game. What a game. Florida goes down. They score a touchdown. And let me tell you, we're throwing Max pick 5 out this week. Whatever happened, we forget it. I'm too focused on Kentucky, Florida. I will say I did put Max pick 5. I said Kentucky was going to cover. So there we go. That's a lock. Let's live with that. Let's ride with that. There we go. But here's what I'm saying, guys, is when you went into this game, you look at a team of Florida, who really good football team, only lost to Bama by 2, trying to get the respect, have to run the table to maybe make a playoff push, right? Well, you look at Kentucky on the other end, you look at a team that's scrapping for respect. Still haven't got their respect, still trying to stay undefeated, still trying to have the miracles of miracles all happen, like Leicester City's 500 or 5,000 to 1 odds, whatever it was, to win the Premier League, that type for Kentucky just to win the SEC East. Just have that, you had to have beaten Florida. And they did. Not only was Kentucky the better team all night, Dan Mullen talks about how he didn't get outcoached. I don't know. Yes, Florida had more yards. Yes, Florida had more third down conversions. Yes, Florida had more time of possession. All that you should be able to win, right? Wasn't the case. The atmosphere was so good in Lexington, where literally 8 full starts for Florida. 8 full starts happened, which was massive. Unbelievable game. And then Jaquez Jones, the senior transfer from Ole Miss, breaks up a pass in the end zone to win the game for Kentucky. I believe it was 23-16, something like that. The 7-point win. And let me tell you, that atmosphere was so awesome. I was with the student section, and everybody just stormed the field. We all went, we stormed the field, sprinted on the field, and just partied and had a hell of a time. And I've never stormed the field before, and it was just a special moment. It was very fun storming the field. It's one of those you can describe how the atmosphere was, but if you weren't there, you don't fully understand how special that night was. But just know it was unbelievable. Stormed the field. The players loved it. Everyone went to State Street. Couches were burning. The SWAT team came into Lexington. The certain buzz in the air was just unbelievable. Now, this puts Kentucky as the number 6 team in the country. That's great. They finally starting to get their respect. But hey, Cecil Hurt, Ben Portnoy, Robbie Folk, and one other guy, I don't even care what the hell your name is. Screw you. Screw you. You're all AP voters, and you still don't put Kentucky in your top 25. Who are you holding a grudge against? You should be revoked of your voting rights. You should be taking your job away. What other team, if any other team in the SEC went 5-0, they wouldn't. You're telling me they wouldn't be ranked? Shut the hell up. You guys are all, you're all jokes. You four. You're imbeciles. You're imbeciles. But hey, we're all positive vibes here. I'm not calling out anybody besides you guys. You're all jokes. But hey, all I can say is special night in Lexington. It's a night that I will remember for the rest of my life. My voice is a little raspy still from the amount of screaming it was. But look, Kentucky now takes down Florida for the second time in 4 years. Dan Mullen is the coach at Florida that lost the streak against Kentucky, the 31-year streak, and now he's lost the streak of beating Kentucky on the road. Not great by Dan Mullen. 2 out of 4 times they've split. Look, Kentucky, I think they're heading towards another 10-win season. I really, really do. And they've only done that one time. One time in 60 years under just Kentucky football before Mark Stoops. And here's Mark Stoops now. He has the potential to do it 2 times. 2 times in 4 years. That's a special breed. I don't think people understand how good of a job Mark Stoops has done in Lexington. Peter Burns of ESPN a couple weeks ago said one of the best coaching jobs you can have in college football is Kentucky. And you know what? He's not wrong. Because Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, you look at that, you expect perfection. It's like Kentucky basketball. Calipari's got to be perfect. You got to be contenders every year. If you get 8 wins at Kentucky, that's a great year. That's a great year. You're not having people asking you to get fired. They're praising you. Where at those big programs, you're in the hot seat. So yes, you're having this type of cushion. But then when you build something towards a 10-win season, an 11-win season, I honestly don't think it's absolutely incredibly insane to say that Kentucky can't get to 11 wins. I think they can beat LSU. Do I think they beat Georgia? No. But after that second half stretch, Mississippi State on the road, that's a winnable game. Tennessee's a winnable game. New Mexico State's a winnable game. And Louisville's a winnable game. And Vanderbilt's a winnable game. So if you beat LSU, there's a real shot you go 11-1. Now that won't happen. Kentucky will probably drop one. That's just a realistic of college football. But I don't think it's out of reach. I don't think it's that crazy. But let me tell you this. I preached on this last week. With Kentucky's win, I thought they should have been ranked after their South Carolina win, but that's beside the point. The fact that Clemson came into the weekend ranked and Kentucky didn't is a joke by any voter who did that. And it's probably the 4 that I just announced because they're all awful. They should be revoked. They're all jokes. Get them the hell out of here. You're all pathetic. But let me tell you, my quarterback, Will Levis, this guy's just a grinder. This guy's a baller. There's something about this team. They don't stop. They keep fighting. And I've told you, I got a lot of criticism. I'm going to have my moment. So yes, we're talking a little about Kentucky. We're going to talk about college football and the rest of the games in a second, but I'm having my moment with Kentucky. Let me tell you this. A lot of people gave me criticism for saying, oh, Kentucky's not going to be the second best team in the SEC East. Florida will. I had a lot of Florida fans come after me. Well, you guys can shut the hell up because right now, who's proving that point right now? What a trick play by the Patriots. That game's still going on in the background. But hey, who's proving that point right now? Who's second in the East right now? Kentucky. Florida still has to play Georgia. So a lot of people gave me criticism for saying that was a biased take, a terrible take. Learn football. Okay. Look at yourself in the mirror if you had that type of quote. Get the hell out of here. But the boys are buzzing. The boys are absolutely buzzing. Now I want to talk about this. LSU, right? Kentucky LSU, it's a sellout. It will be a sellout. It's going to be another amazing atmosphere. I'm going to have another great night. Hopefully, if Kentucky somehow goes 6-0, I don't even know what I'm going to say on the next podcast. But let me tell you this. This is now we switch to LSU here for a second. You look at LSU after their loss to Auburn. We can talk about that for a second before we end it off with Kentucky. But Auburn LSU, Death Valley, it was a great atmosphere. It was unbelievable. It was a great game. Bo Nix, I mean, good Lord, he reminded me of Johnny Manziel. I'm not even joking. He had maybe one of the greatest touchdown plays I've ever seen ever. He literally just went sideline to sideline to sideline and then just chucked one up as he's getting taken down. Auburn brings it down. Auburn wins the game in Baton Rouge. That's the number 1 Sports Center play, and it deserved to be. Bo Nix is a roller coaster of emotion, if you're an Auburn fan. I think you could agree with me. But that was one of the greatest plays from Bo I've ever seen. But which leads me to this. Auburn, big win. They move on to Georgia. That's going to be a tough battle. But that's a very tough matchup. But, hey, you have momentum. You only have 1 loss. So it's going to be a good game. Georgia is yet to be tested. I still think Clemson, yes, but we're kind of seeing the way they kind of slipped and fell. I'm still waiting for Georgia to get tested, or maybe they're just that good where they don't get tested, right? But you look at the other team that they played, LSU. LSU's now 3-2. Let's look at their remaining schedule. And by the way, good luck, Coach Orgeron, because I think I don't think he deserves to be fired. He won you a national championship 2-3 years ago, even if he has a bad year this year. But it's about to get brutal at LSU. LSU is 3-2, and they go on the road against Kentucky next week. Kentucky very well might have a letdown game. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. After putting all the energy through Florida, it's going to be tough to get back up for a game like that. But the crowd, it's going to be electric. It's going to be insane. Hopefully they do. But you got to go to Kentucky, home to Florida, at Ole Miss, at Alabama, and home to Arkansas. That's your next slate of games. I'll say it again. At Kentucky, home to Florida, at Ole Miss, at Alabama, home to Arkansas. Good luck, LSU. I mean, good luck. That is brutal. That is brutal. I mean, we're looking at a 3, 4, 5, 6, a 7, possible 7-loss season for LSU, and you got A&M to end the year. They could be going 5-7, 4-8. Now, maybe they shock me, turn things around, and maybe get 1 or 3 or 4 there, right? But if we're looking on paper, which, hey, don't always look on paper, because everyone looked at paper on Florida, Kentucky. Nobody gave Kentucky a chance. Nobody. But hey, there you go. You play the games for a reason. So maybe LSU rallies around Coach O. But yikes. That's going to be tough. But back to Kentucky. Let's end it. I don't think, when Kentucky blocked the field goal, right? A lot of you that listen to the podcast have my social medias, so you saw my reactions. When the freshman Trayvon Wallace blocked that field goal and took it back 78 yards, or Joshua Pascal blocked it and Trayvon took it 78 yards, I don't think I've ever jumped so high in my lifetime. I took off. I mean, I skyrocketed. It looked like I defined gravity. It's what it felt like. I was screaming mental. That kick six was one of the greatest plays I've ever seen in my life, ever. But the guy who blocked it, Josh Pascal, he had a phenomenal night. And why I want to talk about Josh Pascal, 2-3 years ago, he got diagnosed with cancer, right? He's a cancer survivor now. And now he's laying the lumber against Florida, blocking a field goal, came up with a lot of big-time plays. And literally, the stadium was shaking. That's a pretty solid story, if you ask me. Survive cancer and then make some big-time plays and just winning plays. I love that. Josh Pascal, he represents the University of Kentucky, and there's no other guy you'd rather do it because he's well-spoken and what he's came through, what he's overcame, the adversity that he's been through. Nights like that are what makes sports great. And I was telling myself during this game, this is why we love sports, right? And I know I'll talk about it a lot, where I hate sports. I might make that joke like, oh my God, I hate sports. Why do we even watch sports? Sports aren't even good for my health. I never enjoy it. Yada, yada, yada. It's nights like that, October 2nd in Lexington, Kentucky, that I will tell my kids about, that I will remember for the rest of my life. That's how special of a night it was. And let's just keep grinding. It's time to put respect on the University of Kentucky football because this team is special. This team is special. 5-0, LSU next week. I'll be there again. I'm going back up to Lexington. Let's ride one more week, and let's go. Let's go. So now we talked about the second best team in the SEC East, right? It means we should probably talk about the first best team in the SEC East. Well, those Georgia Bulldogs are pretty freaking good at football, huh? Those guys seem to be pretty good at football, I would say so myself. I mean, they got guys like Jordan Davis, just guys that just don't look like they should be in college. They look like they should be playing on Sundays, not Saturdays. They're that talented. I mean, yes, JT Daniels has his, mystery of an injury, but Stetson Bennett's coming in dropping 37 on your head. All right, 37-0. I mean, this is another test. I'm going to give credit to Georgia because, look, without a doubt, Georgia and Alabama are the two best teams in the country. Either one could win the national championship. I wouldn't be surprised. Was this a game where it's, okay, Georgia is this good, which I do think it is, or is it a game where it's, well, maybe Arkansas's not as good as what we thought, or maybe Arkansas's frauds? I don't think so. I think the win against Texas is good, and I think Texas A&M was a good win. But now also you look at the way Texas A&M's look after losing to Mississippi State. Shout out Mississippi State, Colby Cox, Jacob Frazier, you boys could win. But you think about that and how good is Arkansas? We don't know yet. But that, I think it just proves the point. I think Georgia is just that good. There is nobody that they have on their schedule right now that is in anywhere close to them. And look, I would love to convince myself, Kentucky, no. Georgia is 2 steps ahead of everybody. Alabama's on par with them. As talented, maybe a little better, but Georgia's just so good. There's no other way to put it. The Georgia Bulldogs are they could be the first 3-loss team, and they're not even going to lose a game, I don't think. I think they're going to run the table until the SEC championship, and that Alabama game's up for grabs, right? Up for grabs, but they're just so incredibly talented, and they just have guys that don't look real. They don't look human. I don't know what they're doing in their weight room down there in Athens, but they're doing it the right way because they're just so good. They're just so good. Sam Pittman did not have a good time coming back to Athens. Georgia kicked Arkansas's ass 37-0. Michigan, they get my Troll Award of the week. Wisconsin's just going downhill. I mean, my Lord, you look at Wisconsin, they come in with a lot of preseason hype. Grant Mertz, could he be the guy? What is the Badgers going to do this year? It's been as bad as you could expect. It has been brutal at Wisconsin. Wisconsin now drops to 2 wins, 3 losses. 2 and 3 is not ideal. Not ideal. That's really, really bad. That's pretty bad. You look at the other hand, Michigan, they trolled the hell out of Wisconsin. Jump around is one of my favorite traditions in college football. When Wisconsin does it, I think it's a special time, right? It's electric. It gets the blood flowing, and they did that fourth quarter, and Michigan was putting it to Wisconsin. So the Michigan players, coaches, everybody jumped around on the sidelines when they were playing the song. That was a great troll, and I'll tell you what, Michigan's a football team. Michigan's a good football team, boys. You look at the Wolverines, this team's real. And with the way Ohio State's kind of looked this year, they looked very good against Rutgers, which is a good win. Rutgers is a decent side, too. But maybe Ohio State's starting to get it in the right direction a little more. But could this be the year Michigan actually, Jim Harbaugh finally beats Ohio State? Still hasn't done it. So he still has that burden on his shoulders that he's trying to get off of him. But this could be the year. A lot of football to be left, though. A lot of football to be played. But Michigan's a good team. Michigan is a very, very, very good team. So, now another good team is Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's a playoff team. I really do. I mean, and you look at their schedule. Yes, the AAC conference is not good. They're not going to play much talent like in the SEC, the Big 12. Week in and week out, Big 10, stuff like that, right? You can't put that against them. They went to Notre Dame. They destroyed Notre Dame. There's a silent confidence around this Cincinnati football team as their quarterback, Desmond Ridder, I believe his name, their coach, they were blaring in noise all throughout practice, trying to get ready for the Notre Dame crowd. And the offensive coordinator's like, hey, you got to be ready. It's going to be loud. And he goes, it's going to be loud for one drive, and then it will be quiet the rest of the night. And he was right. They went down, scored. They shut up the Notre Dame fans. And you know what? Notre Dame fans couldn't get back into it because Cincinnati, 24-13, they were in control all game and took it to Notre Dame at all levels. Offense, defense, special teams, physicality. They were a great team. And Cincinnati, they went on the road to Notre Dame. Non-conference, they won. They went on to the road to Indiana. Indiana's not as good as what we thought, but you can't fault them for going out of their way to trying to play a team in the Big Ten. They handled Indiana when they beat them. So if Cincinnati runs the table, of course they're in. And right now it looks like the way that it's going, Luke Fickell is going to have the Cincinnati Bearcats in that Final Four. And if things are going the way it goes, they might have to play either Georgia or Alabama, and then we'll really know what they were. But look at them against last year against Georgia. They went toe-to-toe against Georgia in the bowl game. So, Cincinnati, right? That's all we can say. We'll see. We'll see. But I think they're contenders. I really do think they are for real. And if you ask me my top 4, I would say it's Alabama, 1, Georgia, 2. Really, it's interchangeable. But since Bama's 1, we're going to keep them 1. Since the start of the year. 3, I'd have Penn State. Why I'd have Penn State is, like I said, it's their resume. Auburn, good win. Going to Wisconsin, good win. But now we see kind of Wisconsin falling off. Yikes, but I still have Penn State up there. And I've actually have, I'd have Iowa. I'd have Iowa right now. Yeah, I was thinking Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's my fifth. Iowa. You look what they did to Maryland. They forced 7 turnovers or 8 turnovers. To his brother threw 5 picks on Friday night. Iowa kicked Maryland's ass. A lot of people had that as an upset. No. Iowa is a hell of a football team. My Lord. 59-13. 59-13. Dismantle Maryland. They have good wins under their belt. Iowa is a real program. And you know what? Who plays this weekend? We're going to talk about it later this week. Penn State, number 3 in the country, versus number 4, Iowa. That should have been College game day over Texas, Oklahoma. I don't see how you don't have a top 5 matchup, but it is what it is. That's going to be a great game. And whoever wins that, I'll tell you what, that they have a strong case at the playoff with their resume. Either team. But, all right, Lane Kiffin, yikes. Alabama dismantled, just destroyed Ole Miss. 42-21? 42-21? I mean, not only did they just twin around with them. And Ole Miss got a lot of late yards towards the end. And Lane Kiffin, getting all like, doing the sideline reporter, whatever, throwing the headset off, trying to act all cool. Yikes. Because you got destroyed. Alabama, Nick Saban had the boys ready to play, and that's what's scary. People always talk, oh, look at Alabama. They might not be as good as what they were just because they won by 2 points against Florida. If any other team in the country went into Florida and only won by 2, that's a great win. But we hold Alabama to such a high standard, I think they were fine. When Nick Saban wants to have them mentally prepared and focused, they're going to put performances on like that. When they play Georgia later in the SEC championship, they're going to play like that. But Georgia can go toe-to-toe with them, of course. But they're going to be ready. So people saying, oh, they might not be as talented as what they were. No, they are. They are. This is one of the best defenses Nick Saban's ever had. I'd like you guys to know. They're that good. Alabama has some dogs on their team. They are a phenomenal football team. Oregon, you're frauds. You're frauds. No other way to put it. 31-24 loss to the Stanford Cardinals. Stanford's preseason total of wins was 4. 4 wins. 4 wins. They took them in overtime, and Stanford handled it. There wasn't many people there. The crowd wasn't electric on an Saturday afternoon at Stanford. It wasn't electric. But Oregon, yikes. Thought we had a Pac-12 team, right? I thought we were going to have one. Maybe not anymore. Maybe not anymore, because that's a bad loss. Stanford is not a good football team. They are not a good football team. But, yeah, Oregon's going to have to run the table to have any chance now. And it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So that was an electric week in college football. I can't tell you enough. I'm still tired. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep because got back from Kentucky game, and ended up going to bed, woke up at 5 a.m., 5 a.m., got to get back to watch the Cowboys game. You know why? You gotta watch the boys. You gotta watch the boys. So I'm extremely tired, but I do that weekend all over again. I hope LSU can be something that special. I love that city. I love that school. And if you ever have a chance in your lifetime, ever, to have the opportunity to storm a field, do it. Do it. Lexington was a special night, special atmosphere, and I do it absolutely all over again. 5-0, start respecting the Cats. These boys are absolutely buzzing. There was an energy in the air I'll never feel again. Wow. What a time. What a time. All right, NFL. Here we go. We're gonna start with the 1 o'clock slates. We're gonna work our way up. We'll talk about Brady's return. I was gonna start off with that. But hey, I've been watching that in the background. That's at the 2-minute warning. I was going to wait to do it, but I need to sleep, boys. I need to sleep. I'm tired. So we're going to talk about that after, but I'm keeping a close eye on it. 2-minute warning now. All right. I think you have to start it off with Dallas. I mean, I don't want to. It's just the first game I see on my board here. Holy hell. Trayvon Diggs. I don't know what his odds were at the beginning of the year for defensive player in the NFL, but oh my God. Wow. I don't think it's crazy to think that Trayvon Diggs can win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't. Trayvon Diggs is on another level than any NFL defensive defender right now. And Trayvon Diggs won NFL Defensive Player of the Month in September. So you know what he decides to do on his first game in October? 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Trayvon Diggs. Thank you, Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs is a special talent. Special talent. Now, you have to think about this. The Dallas Cowboys drafted Trayvon Diggs after CeeDee Lamb. Talk about that draft class. It's what my boy Will McClay, the scout director for the Dallas Cowboys, who helps with the drafting, has done a phenomenal job over the years. And it's starting to come together. It's starting to come together. The fact that CeeDee and Trayvon are together is unbelievable. Trayvon was a first-round talent that fell to the second round, whatever. All right, he's playing his lights out. The defense and what Dan Quinn's doing in Dallas is special. It's special. They're leading the league in forced turnovers. They keep buzzing every week. They had 5 sacks on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers and 2 picks. Look, you look at the defensive side of the ball, they're playing. You know what the offense is capable of. You know what they are. I mean, you look at the top 3 offenses in the NFL, I think it's the Dallas Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Cardinals. No order, but those are 3 of the top ones, right? You know what Dallas' offense is going to give you. We didn't know what the defense was going to give us, and oh my Lord, are they good. Let me tell you. You look at the offense, though, too. Maybe we can all just shut up about Ezekiel Elliott, huh? He looks excellent. He looks excellent since week 1 when he got the criticism. He is a special talent right now. We already knew that, but it looks like he has his legs back under him. They're playing great. He had over 120 yards rushing. He had a touchdown. He was special. He was absolutely special. Absolutely special. And Dak Prescott throws for 4 touchdowns. It's one of these where I think Dak has not only the potential of winning NFL Comeback Player of the Year, I think we have to look at it. I think he's a potential MVP candidate, the way the Cowboys look, the way he's playing. Now, let me tell you this, by all means, I think the Carolina Panthers, this was a test of, are they for real? They're a frisky team. Are they for real or are they contenders? They haven't played frauds. They haven't played a great schedule up to this point. I think the Carolina Panthers are a great football team. I wouldn't say great. Let's not say great. Good football team. Good football team. Coming into this game against the Dallas Cowboys, their defense was ranked number 1 on every single category. Less points allowed, yards allowed, passing yards allowed, and rushing. They had the number 1 category for every defensive rank category. I think this goes to show you how good Dallas's offense is. Dallas put 36 on Carolina's head. Carolina has a great defense. Tampa Bay has a great defense. But Dallas can score when they want. I do think Carolina's good. I like their defense. Even though they didn't look good on Sunday. They gave Cowboys problems for a little bit, and then the adjustments were made. Sam Darnold has 5 rushing touchdowns. 5 rushing touchdowns. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Sam Darnold looks decent. He struggled, had a couple turnovers like the Trayvon Diggs, like we were talking about. But the Panthers with Joe Brady and Matt Rule, they're well coached. They are a good football team. Look, Sam Darnold, when he can stop turning the ball over, they're going to be good. They're 3-1. They're already a good team. He has more rushing touchdowns this season than Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Jonathan Taylor combined. Not just each guy, but you combine them all together, Sam Darnold has more rushing touchdowns with 5 than them. That's a problem for those other running backs, but Carolina's getting good production out of Sam Darnold. Now, yes, if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, you would have looked at your first 4 games. If you would have said, hey, we're going to be 3-1 after our first 4, you're taking that. You're taking that. They're a good football team. I just think it speaks volumes to the Dallas Cowboys of, we now know what they are. I'm not hesitant anymore. This is a real contender. The Dallas Cowboys are contenders. I think they beat the Buccaneers. They got an unlucky call, and Greg Zuerlein missed a couple kicks. Chargers are a playoff team. Beat them. Handled the Eagles, they suck, but you destroy them, which you should do. And then the Panthers, who were undefeated, one of the last undefeated teams in the league, you dismantled them. Yes, the score was an 8-point Dallas victory, but don't let that fool you. They were up 20 in the fourth quarter and then kind of put their backups in. This team is a dominant football team. Dominant football team. And I love it. Another dominant football team is my Buffalo Bills. 40-0. 47-0, something like that. They destroyed the Texans. The Buffalo Bills are outscoring opponents 118-21 in their last 3 games. They've almost, in their last 3 games, outscored their opponents by almost 100 points. It is unbelievable. Josh Allen looks phenomenal. Stephon Diggs proves to be one of the best receivers in the league week in and week out. Their defense is electric. The Buffalo Bills are just so incredibly talented. They are such a good football team. Buffalo is no joke whatsoever. They are a really good team. I mean, they dismantled them 40-0 over the Texans. 40-0. 40-0. They are special. Now, who's back of the week? Aaron Rodgers? Uh-oh. Aaron Rodgers seems to get his feet under him. 27-17 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yikes. Pittsburgh might have a tiny bit of a problem. Tiny bit of a problem. Pittsburgh looks brutal. Ben Roethlisberger looks awful. They look like a awful football team. No other way around it. You look at Aaron Rodgers, after a lot of criticism from week 1's bad performance against the Saints, he's now thrown for 9 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns each of those 3 games, and 0 interceptions. Aaron's back. Aaron's back. And you know what? It looks like he's having fun too. It looks like he's having fun. It looks like he's enjoying himself. And the Packers look like a great football team once again as they're 3-1 as they continue to push on. You look at the other side of the field, Pittsburgh's got a lot to fix. They're not good. They're not good. Especially when you're in a division like the Ravens. Ravens are a good football team. Browns are a good football team. I mean, you look at both of them, they won today. I mean, the Ravens on Sunday, they rushed for 100 yards in their 43rd straight game. 43rd straight game they've had over 100 yards. And that was a big victory because Denver was undefeated coming into this week, but that was one of those, are they good or are they, fakes and frauds? I don't know yet because Teddy Bridgewater did get knocked out with a concussion that had to bring in Drew Lock. So that already put Denver in a bad situation as it was, right? That put them behind the chains, behind schedule, no bueno. So I don't really want to evaluate them yet. But you look at the Ravens to go into Mile High, that's huge. Justin Tucker hit a 70-yarder in pregame. I mean, that's absurd as it is. That's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. But that's big for Baltimore. That's big. Baltimore's a good team. They keep that streak alive, and Lamar Jackson just keeps balling, and they get that 100-yard streak, and they're rolling. They're rolling. You know who else is rolling is the Arizona Cardinals. My Lord. This is one of the best offenses in the NFL. They're just so talented. Kyler Murray, right? Rondell Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Christian Kirk. Like, there is so many guys, so many weapons in Arizona where they are so talented. So talented. And their defense is playing very, very good. Their defense is playing incredibly good as well. So, they're a good football team. They're 4-0 in the hardest division in football. By far. That is the hardest division in football. Don't get me wrong. So, they're 4-0. They're first in points. They're first in yards. They're second in touchdowns. They just keep clicking. Cliff Kingsbury has a fun style of football. It's took them a little bit to get to Arizona to this point, but here they are now. Here they are. They are, right now, the only 4-0 team in the NFL. One of the only undefeated teams left in the NFL, along with the Raiders. The Raiders play tonight, of course, against the Los Angeles Chargers. So, yeah, Cardinals are good. Cardinals are good. I didn't have them. I didn't have them making the playoffs. I didn't, but here they are. So, fair enough. Now, I've given this guy a lot of slander in the past, and I'm going to stick with it over the course of the year. Congratulations to Zach Wilson and the New York Jets, and Zach Wilson's first career NFL win. He actually looks pretty good. He did. He was 3 yards short of throwing for 300. He threw for 297, 2 touchdowns, but he took them on the game-winning drive in overtime. Fair enough. Fair enough, Zach. You looked good. You looked good. I'm actually incredibly pissed off at the Tennessee Titans because I had a parlay, and my parlay was hitting. As the Buccaneers just beat the Patriots, so I won that bet. So basically, my parlay lost because of the Tennessee Titans. So and you're playing the Jets. You're playing the Jets. I don't want to hear excuses that A.J. Brown was out, that Julio Jones was out. I don't care. You should beat the Jets. But you know what? Any given Sunday, and we're going to let Jets fans have this moment, Shout out to Zach Wilson. I still think he's unbelievably overrated. I still think he's very, very bad. But he looked very good. And you know what? It screwed me in fantasy. My philosophy of, hey, if they're playing the Jets, I'm going to play their defense. There's a reason why they're one of the lower ranks defenses in the NFL. You showed it today that Zach Wilson carved you up. Tough. Not good. And you know what's not good is Jimmy Garoppolo's injury. This calf injury is now multiple weeks. Multiple weeks. And if you're San Francisco, you just lost to the Seahawks, and that now pushes you dead last in the division. I know it's only 4 weeks in, but you're looking at them this time last week, or they were 2-0, playing Sunday Night Football, lose a heartbreaker to Green Bay, go to 2-1. Now Seattle comes into your home stadium, boom, they beat you. All of a sudden, you're back down to last. And I know it's 4 weeks, but that division's just so talented. So there you go. Tough loss. Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt. It's the Trey Lance show. But I will tell you this, what's really cool about the 49ers. 49ers have scored 12 touchdowns this season, each by 12 different wide receivers. There's been 12 touchdowns, and there have been 12 different wide receivers. That's the first time that's ever happened in NFL history. So Trey Lance is going to have to come in. He's going to have to hit it on the fly because that division, there's no breathing room with Arizona in it, with the Rams in it. So it's going to be good. Now, a team that is, honestly, I don't know if they're good or not, is the Saints. Right? Who knows if the Saints are good? Saints lose 27-21 in overtime to the New York Giants. I didn't think Giants were going to win for like 11 straight weeks. You proved me wrong there. Good performance. I mean, Daniel Jones threw his first 400-yard career game. He had 402 yards. He played well. Saquon Barkley was back to his old self, right? You look at Saquon, he had 18 total touches, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the walk-off touchdown. He was awesome. It's good to see Saquon back because you never want to see anybody get hurt, especially at his caliber of talent. You never want to see that happen. He was special. He played well. Saints, on the other hand, what is going on? I mean, it was the first time Alvin Kamara didn't have a single target. Just trying to throw him in the flat. That's where they get a lot of yards. Him in the flat, him on little short routes. They were good. They didn't do that. The Saints looked awful. They looked awful. I mean, coming into this game, Sterling Shepard was ruled out with an injury. Darius Slayton was ruled out with an injury. They lost their defensive captain. Everything was looking good for the Saints and horrible for the Giants. And the Giants just kept on fighting and fighting and fighting. That's a big win. You got to go play Dallas next week. But on any given Sunday, anybody can win. Any given Sunday. So, got to be ready. Got to be ready. And a team that I knew that was going to be ready coming into this week was the Kansas City Chiefs. And they were. Patrick Mahomes, 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns. Not a bad day. Not a bad day. Nope. But you know who else had a not a bad day? It's Tyreek Hill. Oh, 11 catches, 186 yards, 3 touchdowns. Nobody in the Philadelphia secondary had any chance in... No, they just had no chance in stopping Tyreek. It's hard enough playing the Monday Night Football game and then having to prepare for the Chiefs on a short week. That's already tough as it is. The Chiefs looked good. They cover the 7.5-point spread. They win 42-30, and they looked good. Andy Reid, his return home to Philadelphia, it went pretty good. I think he was pretty satisfied, to say the least. I think he was pretty satisfied. But Kansas City looked good, and on the other hand, Philadelphia, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So, now the Browns, how about it? How about it? Cleveland 14-7 over Minnesota. Minnesota just can't get this going in the right direction. They just can't. Minnesota now drops to 1-3 on the year, which a team that had a lot of high expectations for coming into this year. They don't look good. Putting 7 points up in the National Football League is not going to do it for you. Kirk Cousins has got to get better. The offense has got to get better. Everything in Minnesota has to get better, or it's going downhill. It's not going to be good. Cleveland, on the other hand, look, their offense wasn't great by any means, but you know what? A win is a win. And Baker took them on a road in atmosphere. Minnesota's a tough place to play, and they won the game, and that's what's important. Cleveland advances. They move on, but Minnesota's got to get something together. But Cleveland, they're staying with Cincinnati at the top of the division. They're staying with Baltimore, and Pittsburgh's just dropping. So now we got to talk about it. It just ended. Brady's return to New England. I think this is what most of you came to listen to. It was the biggest storyline. I think this is one of the biggest regular season football games that had as much hype around it in a very long time. Tom Brady, over the course of the night, in their 19-17 win on the road in his return to Foxborough, Brady wins the battle over Belichick. He broke the all-time passing yard stat. And you kind of would have expected that. Brady is just so good. Now, I did find it interesting when they were basically coming in. Brady, he was hugging Josh McDaniels, his longtime offensive coordinator, right? He was hugging all of his former teammates. Belichick was all business, but it was a little awkward. It was like a 0.5 second, 1 second hug. Brady looked to maybe talk to him. Belichick just gave him a hug and went. We know Bill Belichick is a weird, kind of locked-in individual, I guess you could say. But you know how much this win meant to Tom Brady. He was getting a standing ovation. Everyone's cheering him in warm-ups. And that first drive, he got booed. I love Boston sports fans. I do. I wouldn't have booed Brady. But he's on the other team, so I understand where they're coming from, Some guys like Tom Brady deserves to retire in New England and not move on. But I don't know if it was him and Belichick or what it was, but he found a new home. He's already won him a Super Bowl, and he's on his way to winning another one this year. But you know how much that meant to Tom Brady. And that was a gutsy win. It was a rainy game, wet conditions. Tom Brady didn't play his best football. He didn't play his best football at all. But a win is a win. In New England, Brady gets the upper hand over Belichick. And Belichick, that hug was just a little weird. It was a little awkward, a little tense to say the least. I'm not going to lie. But Tampa Bay, that's huge. Going into Foxborough and winning is never easy. Never easy. That's always tough to do. Now, the last game I completely forgot to talk about is the Colts-Dolphins. Colts got one. I said it was a must-win. I said they needed to get a victory. Else, if you go 0-4, it's going to be bad from there. And I'll tell you what, seeing the Tennessee Titans lose to the Jets brings life back into this organization in Indianapolis. Because if you look at Tennessee, right? Tennessee's over here at 2-2. That Colts win right there brings you're all of a sudden, you're back. You're one game back. A lot of football to be played, but you're back now. 0-4 in the National Football League's insanely hard to come back from. Well, now you got it to 1-3. It's still tough, but it's manageable. Without Quentin Nelson playing, without Braden Smith, I believe is the right tackle playing, without some of their stars, and Carson Wentz isn't 100%. It's not easy, but they went to Miami and they looked good, and Jacoby Brissett and the boys did not. I think that's as easy to put it. They just didn't look good at all in Miami, and that's a big win. That gets the Colts going in the right direction, you would think. Who knows? So, big win for the Indianapolis Colts. They move on a 27-17 victory over the Dolphins. But yikes. Yikes, Miami. Yikes. But that was a great game. The Sunday night game was great. It made up for a lackadaisical day of football, because that was not one of our better NFL Sundays, to be completely honest. It wasn't the best, but it was good. Now, to end the show, baseball's back this week. It's playoff. We've entered the month of October, and this wild card slate is unbelievable. The Yankees versus the Red Sox is the best rivalry in baseball. You get a winner take all in, I believe, Boston. I could be wrong. Either atmosphere is going to be insane. I believe it is in Boston, though. It is going to be unbelievable. Tuesday. I don't know the time yet, but Tuesday, winner take all. It's the playoffs. One good team's getting eliminated. We'll see. The St. Louis Cardinals, who had one of the longest win streaks in baseball this year, who are probably the hottest team in baseball, are going up against the greatest wild card team of all time in the Los Angeles Dodgers, who had over 100 wins this season, over 100 wins this year, which is incredible to have to play a wild card game, who had the second best record in baseball, might I add, are having to play a one-game winner take all against the Cardinals. Baseball's back. Sports are great right now. It is getting electric. I hope you guys had a great weekend because I sure as hell did. It was the greatest weekend of my life, without a doubt. Playoffs start this week. The Braves, my Braves, let's go. We start Friday night in Milwaukee. I don't expect to win that series. I'm just happy we got here at this point. Wow. What a weekend. What a weekend. Have a great week. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Mac on Sports podcast. I love you guys. Social medias will be in the description. Peace out.